Day 21 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Outside her home, something has changed. Orange barricades now narrow the street. Traffic is being controlled. Media remain. The case is no longer just a neighborhood crisis. It has become a managed scene. And behind it all sits one question: who is responsible for Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, and what are they doing right now? Nancy Guthrie was taken in the early morning hours of Sunday, February 2nd. Investigators have publicly treated the event as an abduction. There is video evidence from a Nest camera. The footage shows a masked individual carrying what appears to be a backpack and a distinctive holster. Authorities have not publicly identified a suspect. The sheriff has ruled out the Guthrie family. That procedural decision is unusual during an active investigation, but investigators are inside the case. External observers are not. There has been speculation about motive, including revenge or financial gain. However, if this were a for-profit kidnapping, there has been no confirmed proof of life released publicly. Historically, kidnappings for ransom depend on proof of life. That detail matters. So if not profit, what? That is where behavioral analysis enters the picture, and it reframes the investigation entirely. Former FBI profiler Jim Fitzgerald, who worked in the profiling unit during cases including the Unibomber investigation, has outlined behavioral patterns that may apply here. His experience includes the Unibomber, the Anthrax case, and the DC Sniper case. Rather than focusing only on physical evidence, behavioral analysis examines patterns before and after a crime. Pre-offense indicators can include unusual distraction, increased isolation, unexplained schedule changes, excessive internet searches related to the victim or crime type, and the assembly of what profilers sometimes call an abduction kit, items such as tape, restraints, masks, tools, and lighting devices. It is not proof. It is pattern recognition. Another factor raised is fixation on high-profile women, including Savannah Guthrie. Savannah's public visibility makes her a potential focal point. The theory of erotomania, a recognized psychiatric condition involving delusional belief in a mutual relationship with a public figure, has been discussed in general terms. This does not confirm such a motive in this case. Verification is needed, but investigators are likely reviewing Savannah Guthrie's communications history, including emails and prior contacts, as part of routine due diligence. That is standard procedure when a high-profile individual is connected to a case. Here is the pivot. If the target was not Nancy Guthrie alone, but someone connected to Savannah Guthrie, what does that change? Then came another variable. After the abduction, video footage was released. If the individual involved believed there was no active subscription capturing footage, that release may have altered their psychological state overnight. Because once you see yourself on camera, the crime becomes real. Profilers often divide post-offense behavior into two phases: before public exposure and after it. Before the video release, behavioral shifts may include altered routines, unexplained absences, claims of being out of town, rental car use without clear reason, or sudden cleaning of vehicles and storage spaces. After the footage becomes public, changes can intensify. Cutting or altering hair, monitoring media obsessively, following online discussion groups, possibly even contacting tip lines with misleading information. None of these behaviors prove guilt. Many people exhibit stress behaviors for unrelated reasons. But in combination, patterns can narrow focus. There is also the possibility, raised as theory, not fact, that the perpetrator is monitoring coverage closely. That is common in high-profile crimes. The question then becomes, is this individual fearful or emboldened? History offers both possibilities. Eric Rudolph, linked to the 1996 Olympic bombings, evaded capture for years. Ted Kaczynski operated for nearly 2 decades before identification. Longevity alone does not imply sophistication. But here is another hinge. Statistics consistently show that most violent crimes are committed by someone known to the victim. Investigators use what are called concentric circles, mapping relationships outward from the victim: family, friends, colleagues, extended contacts. The sheriff has ruled out the Guthrie family. That removes one inner circle, but outer circles remain. Could it be someone close? That term requires definition. Close geographically, emotionally, historically. Investigators must examine all of it, including decades-old grievances. Long-held resentments have surfaced in other cases after years of dormancy. And if the motive involves jealousy, obsession, or perceived grievance tied to Savannah Guthrie's prominence, the investigative lens widens dramatically. But what does the evidence actually show? At this stage, an abduction, a video, no confirmed ransom proof of life, no public suspect. Despite reports suggesting resources may eventually scale back, there is no indication that such scaling is imminent. High-profile abductions typically maintain extensive investigative staffing for months, sometimes longer. Personnel may rotate, but the case remains active. Investigators are likely reviewing digital records, financial movements, communications histories, and forensic data. They are also assessing behavioral indicators provided through tip lines. Even a single corroborated behavioral match, combined with digital or physical evidence, can shift a case rapidly. Until that happens, the investigation remains open and fluid. Nancy Guthrie has lived in her home since the 1970s. Neighbors describe deep community ties. The emotional toll in the area is visible. The next phase depends on one of three developments: a credible lead from the public, a forensic match, or a behavioral pattern that narrows to a specific individual. There is no announced arrest, no confirmed recovery, no formal suspect. So the central question remains: is this a calculated offender hiding in plain sight, or someone spiraling under mounting pressure? As the days extend beyond February 2nd, investigators continue expanding those circles, because somewhere within them the answer exists. And when it surfaces, it will likely come from something small: a behavior noticed, a detail remembered, a pattern finally recognized.